Today is Friday, March 30th, 2018, and this is the ServiceMonster Show. And oh my God, guys, you totally don't want to miss this episode. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Pretty much nothing happened this week in social media. I mean, Facebook's under fire, but you know about that. Roseanne Barr came out, but there's all kind of political crap around that. And I don't really care about Elon Musk's Facebook page. What I do want to talk about for a minute, though, is Vistage. I told you last week that I was going to an executive meeting. It's a group. It's around $1,200 a month to be part of this CEO group, and it's a national organization, and they obviously have local chapters. There's about 8 other CEOs in this group, some of them entrepreneurial, as in they've created and founded the business themselves, and a few of them were maybe traditional track, right? Went to an amazing Ivy League school, did some awesome work in smaller organizations, and then were promoted through the ranks. On my Facebook page, I put that it was around a $250 million total take annual revenue between all of these companies. Yeah, I was wrong. It's more like 600 million. These guys are heavy hitters, and I feel like a teeny tiny little fish amongst them. But it was a very good experience. I'm very encouraged by what I saw. If it continues to compound, it'll totally be worth it in the long run. If it stays at where it's at, I'll probably extract what I need from the group in about 8 or 9 months. But there's amazing people, and the connections are what's blowing me away. Here's a great example. In 15 minutes, we talked about our next month's meeting, and then talked about the fact that the national Vistage event was in Seattle just a week later. And so one of the individuals who owned a bus as part of his business suggested that we use his bus to drive down to Seattle and attend the event. And then one of the other entrepreneurs stepped in and said, you know, the first meeting in the breakfast is at 7 o'clock. I want to go the night before and stay the night, but you guys feel free to take the bus. And of course, everyone decided that that was a great plan. So now we're taking a bus, going to a hotel, which, by the way, discounted rates, because the guy who's also in the group is building boats for the company who owns the hotel where the event is hosted at. You see where I'm going here? The connections like that lasted all day. I kept running into people over and over again who knew that person, who knew this person. And by the time we were done, we went from a meeting to a field trip to an event. And it took about 15 minutes. And the overall savings between transportation, gas, parking, and the event and staying there, it was probably about $2,200, $2,500, something in that range. So pretty impressive. And that just continued throughout the day. The other thing I want to mention is I'm going to do an ask on the presenter that they brought in. His name's Gary. I'll introduce him in the ask, but he created a handful of systems for employee performance reviews. Now, this guy is amazing. His whole history was amazing, and is essentially saying do away with the ratings. He's created a whole system around this that he's been doing for well over a decade. And it's, you know, a lot of the Fortune 500 companies are now adopting this process. So I'm going to talk about that in an ask and what he went through. So look for that in the next week's show. Overall, I say it's a great experience. I'll continue to go there, obviously, with an open mind and bated breath and see what the group has to offer. And I'm already pitching in as much value as I can by helping one of the other people out approach a mobile project.
This week, inside ServiceMonster. Starting on Monday, we introduce a new team member. Her name is Annette, and she's going to be operating as our sales manager. We're super excited to have her.
This week's ask was on the buying process. We all go through it. What happens in our mind psychologically, and what are the steps in the process that we go through when we decide to buy something? So I break that down because it helps us as marketers, as business owners, understand the psychology behind the buying process so that we can interject our little evil schemes.
ServiceMonster product updates. So I want to take a minute to talk about the education platform. So since its inception, we've created nearly, I think we're going on 50 videos now. Lots of content that goes over the various processes in ServiceMonster 6, helps you, trains you in how to use them. We also included articles. So if you visit our site, www.servicemonster.net/help, you'll see we set up coursework. And inside the coursework, we have videos. And underneath the videos, we have articles for those of you who don't want to necessarily go through the whole video and just want to read, see how to do something in ServiceMonster 6. It's super user-friendly, guys. It's an awesome site. Please go visit it if you have any questions about ServiceMonster 6. The most recent videos we created are a couple of smaller ones. I included quick tips on how to edit columns in ServiceMonster 6, and also a video on how to create billing statements. But you might want to keep an eye out for these. Today, actually, I finished a video on training you how to use Zapier. Zapier is still in beta, so you might want to keep an eye out for that. When we release that, we will also be releasing the training video so you'll know how to use it. This week we also had some questions on Twilio, and so I did a couple videos, or I'm working on a couple videos to address some of those questions, so also keep an eye out for those.
No releases on the ServiceMonster platform this week, but the engineers are working hard and you'll see something soon. From everyone here at ServiceMonster, thank you so much for your attention.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Go check out the demo.
And give us a call.